Metal Universe. I'm PJ Steven, here with the Hydra Mutants. We're so excited for this episode of Metal Hammer, guys. I've been looking forward to this forever. I'm so glad you guys are here. You guys excited?
Glad to be here.
Yeah, man. Thank you guys very much for coming. We are here with, what, 3/5 of the Hydra Mutants,
yes,
correct?
Sir.
I'm here with Todd Brown, guitars, rhythm guitar, and Chris O'Quinn, the lead guitar, yes? Whatever. And I'm with the brainchild, and I say child loosely, with the Hydra Mutants right here, Mr. Herman Mutant. That's all him right here. Guys, thank you guys so much for coming on the show, and just, you know, you guys do a lot for the local music scene around here. Like I said, we really appreciate that. So I'm going to start with Herman. I think that's the only way I can start it, because God knows no one's going to finish with you. So let me start with you here. How did Hydra Mutants come up?
Hydra Mutants started in 1997. It goes back to 1984. In 1984, we started one of the first punk bands in South Carolina called Sex Mutants.
Right.
Original Hydra Mutant drummer Sid Mutant and myself started that with some friends. And so flash forward to 1997, and we were having a birthday party for me. You know, and a bunch of bands came around that played, you know, out in my yard. Chris was there. We had a clown. You had your daughter there. That's right. And so these bands.
That's a killer birthday party.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah. And
I didn't even know that.
Whoa! You guys gonna learn more about the band than you guys even knew.
Wow, you were there. Wow.
But we had this band from Columbia called the Scrubbies. They're still kind of around. Oh, and they showed up and had learned a bunch of the old Sex Mutant songs. So I got up and you know, sang those songs with them at my party and all. And so then that night I'm calling Sid up. I'm like, dude, we're getting the band back together. And so it just started there. We just started Hydra Mutants and.
And this was in '97.
This was 1997, yep. And you know, where Sex Mutants had been, you know, straight up hardcore punk rock, or what we tried to play as hardcore punk rock. We couldn't really play for shit, you know. But you know, we got it done. But you know, with the Hydra Mutants, you know, the name Hydra Mutants comes obviously from Sex Mutants. You know, I was gonna have mutants at the end. You know, my favorite Misfit song is Hybrid Moments, and then I wanted to be a hybrid of punk and metal.
Yeah,
so
I love it.
That's how we came around.
You know, it's funny you say that, because I was listening to Static A's the other day, and Hybrid. See, that's exactly what I'm gonna take. Hybrid Moments is on that song, and I always say to myself, "These Hybrid Mutants."
Yeah,
like,
we
used to cover it.
Every time. I did not even know that. Yeah. Every time I hear that song, I just say, "These Hybrid Mutants."
Oh yeah, it's so propos.
Yeah, I love it. So Chris, talk to me. Where do you come to the band? When did you first join?
Playing with them. I used to play in Flamin' Anus a long time ago.
Yeah, man.
Flamin' Anus. Now, is that another band?
It was
you
a
guys
punk
started?
band around that same
old school punk rock. You know.
And we played together, like, you know, each weekend Mutants and the Anus were playing together.
So you were in two bands?
No, we just played with the show.
Oh, you played with the show. And so you played at one of the bands. Okay.
I played in another band. So, you know. And
but I was in a metal band called the Rejectors that had a drummer from Flamin' Anus.
Oh, so you guys are all
incestual, yeah.
I love it. We are here in the South, so that's such a program.
So
yeah, really.
You gotta work with what you got, right?
Yeah, we're all family.
Yeah, really. So when did you join the band? Actually joined Hydra Mutants?
3 years ago.
About that, yeah.
Oh, so you're okay.
Yeah. Well, I've been in it almost 3, and you came in shortly after I did. So we're about the same neck and neck.
Yeah, and you've been in there for 3 years?
Almost.
You've been in there longer than I have, and then that's it. We are what we are.
Nice. That's that. I want to talk a little. I know he's not here, but Eric.
Eric.
I was so hoping Eric would be here, because the one thing I want to say to Eric is he has the meanest fucking face when he plays, and I fucking love it. Yeah, I mean, he is, and even when he was playing with your band, Todd has a band that he just started, known as Voorhees, and it's a killer band. And Eric plays bass in that band as well,
sick,
and just his face, like,
you know, so much of those are his songs.
Some of those are his songs.
Yeah, there's so many of them.
Well, I'm telling you what, they're fantastic. Yeah, like I said, Eric, who cannot be here tonight, is the bassist, and Michael, who lives out in Florida, is your drummer, and he's a hell of a drummer as well.
Yeah, he's been with us. He actually started as a bass player for us.
That happens a lot.
Yeah,
bass players go to drums, go back to bass. It's a whole rhythm section.
We had one bass player that was a guitarist and bass player at different times. But Mike got with us. At one point, we were just like really not doing anything, and then we got together for a Misfits tribute show somewhere. Oh, at God, it's not Cats music. What is
Monster Music? Yeah,
they had some kind of Halloween festival, so we got, you know, my drummer and guitarist knew Mike. I didn't know him, but he's really been a huge. Well, Eric too, everybody, but Mike's really been a huge asset to the band. You know, and gives us focus, and he's a great arranger, you know, and just
he's obviously he's obviously dedicated.
Yeah.
He lives in Florida. Yeah. He comes up here for shows. I mean, round of applause for Michael. That's awesome.
He just started in Florida, and it's just for a year. He's in a school there, you know. So
oh, okay.
Coming back on weekends for jamming and shows and shit. So
awesome. Yeah. Well, I want to talk a little bit about because I hear this all the time. I'm not from here. I moved here when I was 16. However, I heard that in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, the Charleston music scene, especially for punk and heavy metal, was the tits. Am I right?
Yeah. Well, you mean in the 80s, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Then it kind of went down.
What happened? Why did it go down? What happened? Was it just the change of time?
It was the change of time, the change of everything. You know, it was the time where all the punk, what had been the punk kids scene, were trading in their punk vinyl for dead vinyl. You know, just that whole shift of the dead, and people becoming hippies instead of punks.
So you don't think it was? You think this was happening all over the place, not just with Charleston?
No, I think so.
I watched it happen.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, in the last 3 years, we've seen a resurgence. You know,
the
punk scene
most
here
definitely
is really awesome.
You know, I agree with that because we're getting a lot of awesome punk bands coming out of the weeds. Yeah. I'm talking about bands like Energy. I'm talking about Alert the Media,
and this
Astronauts.
Old school punk. Where
it is.
There was that period where there was a lot of pop punk out there.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's like nothing against pop punk. I love pop punk. I love all kinds of music. But there's real fucking punk rock.
I do.
There's real.
Yeah, I agree. I really agree. I think that it's really nice to see bands like that come out of the woodwork, and just that's what you gotta like. Especially down here in Charleston.
Yeah.
I mean, because from what I've read, Charleston's the best place to live. From what I've read in magazines.
Well, everybody's read in magazines.
Yeah, everyone. Yeah. So,
but as far as
they're all here.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Oh, they're all going to come here and find out.
But the media has a song called Charleston.
Exactly. We're full. And
I love them.
And actually, funny story about Alert the Media. Bill, he goes by two names. Paul, Billy, whatever.
Billy.
He sold me this house.
Really?
This was his house. I bought it.
That is so.
All Somerville guys.
The whole reason.
We used to play with them when they were. I think who was it? Brian.
Brian was in the
Scouts.
They were in Scouts Honor.
Scouts Honor.
Before that, they were in
right.
Before that, Doozer. Mutants and Doozer played together like a lot.
Well, we're having them on the show August 4th. We're really excited to have them as well.
Not August 4th.
Huh?
Not August 4th.
September 4th.
Yep.
You know more about it than I do.
We're past August 4th.
We are past August 4th.
Steven, do you have a time machine?
Yeah. I wish I did. Definitely getting metal hammered up here. I want to talk a little bit about the songs. You said you write 99% of the songs. Everyone kind of gives their own musical
lyrics.
Lyrics-wise. Where some of those lyrics come from? Well, things like One More Beer and the song you open with, You Know My Name.
Don't You Know My Name.
Don't You Know My Name. I love that song.
And Don't You Know My Name is just about like when you see someone at a party that's been your friend or someone you've known forever, and then they don't act like they don't know you.
Story of my fucking life,
huh? Don't You Know My Name. One More Beer is just about a bad relationship and one more beer. But I write lyrics from Star Wars, monster movies.
Yeah.
Live.
I can definitely get the influences there.
Yeah.
I love it.
Awesome.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about the musical influences that you guys have when you're adding to the writing of these songs. What when he writes a lyric, say One More Beer, say You Know My Name, how do you guys start making that collaborate together to get that guitar work going?
Sometimes it's a little bit turned around, and we do the songs and he writes the lyrics too.
Generally, it's always been, throughout the history is I'm always writing lyrics, and then someone will play some riffs or say I got this song, and then immediately something clicks and I've got this, or I just start writing down on a piece of paper.
Just start writing down.
But generally, it's the music that starts.
Oh, okay.
Which as a lyricist and a vocalist, to me, the music is the most important.
Oh, most definitely.
That's what makes a song. You can be singing anything, like the chorus, One More Beer is la 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 blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Blah blah. But at first I was just singing that to think, but then I started thinking about it. I'm thinking about someone just yelling at me, la 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 blah blah, one more beer.
And so you're drunk from that one more beer. So why wouldn't you just be like, blah, blah, blah. I love it.
It totally is.
Well, it's just the person arguing with you that it just becomes la la blah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Like
Dirty Clothes was a great one. That's
I love. What is that about? A father dying?
It's about a friend of mine who his wife died.
Wife died, right?
And you know, during the funeral, I was at the house. People brought food, and I was trying to get the food together and you know, lay it out so when they came home, everybody have something to eat, you know. And so I'm at the house walking around, got the food set up, waiting for the funeral to get over, and I'm looking around and I see this pile of dirty clothes. I'm thinking, man, you know, this dude's got to wash his dead wife's dirty clothes. And so I just started thinking about it then. And then one night, Chris and I had a session. He came over to the house, and he's like, I got these riffs here, and so it just came like that.
Nice. Well, I'm glad you segued into Chris, because Chris, you're the next guy I want to talk to about what's your, like, what made you want to pick up the guitar? Is there a specific person, specific band? What made you kind of want to go in this direction?
One Direction.
Yeah, One Direction.
One Direction. That was college years.
Yeah. I mean, I've got an SG. I loved AC/DC.
Yeah.
Whole lot of Rosie.
Yeah, whole lot of Rosie.
I mean, nothing in particular. Just love music. You know what I mean? You want to make the sounds, the screeches, the noises, everything else.
Do you remember the first record that you listened to that you just said, that's what I want to do?
Well, I mean, I love Kill 'Em All.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell of a record.
Yeah.
Hell of a record.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, my first one was Kiss Alive.
Yeah. Kiss Alive.
Just 8 years old, man.
Yeah.
And my cousin turned me on that Parasite. Just blew my mind.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to do this, you know.
That's all. And you do a hell of a stage show. All you guys do. And so I could definitely see your influences there.
You're giving me too much credit.
Well, no, you stay in the back. I do. Yeah. You're the guy in the back, which is nice. Yeah. I mean, you know,
it was cool when you were smoking clubs. When you were smoking clubs, Chris always had a cigarette hanging like that drummer from Cheap Trick.
Yeah. Oh, and he always had a cigarette.
Monte Carlos. He always
yeah.
Chris, when you could smoke, he always had one hanging like that.
I mean, there wasn't a song, I think, especially with Flaming Bananas, that was still when you could smoke everywhere. And I would just light it up. And the worst part is when it gets just right in your eye.
Yeah.
And that was about it.
You always have that, like when you walk into a bar and you light up your smoke and you're trying to look cool. You might not know anyone there, and the smoke goes straight to your eye and you're trying to play it off.
I've done that. I've walked into a party that I never knew and opened a beer. Todd, my question goes back to you as well. What was the first kind of band guy you saw on stage, however, that made you pick up the guitar?
I grew up in a city called Wilmington. And
I was
a skateboard little punk ass kid that didn't know his ass from hole in the ground. I was a bass fisherman, and I chewed Levi Garrett. I wore camouflage clothing, and I had a skateboard, Tony Hawk. And I would go to the big skateboard ramps, and the boys there were always 5 or 6 years older than me. And honestly, learning how to skate with them and not kill myself and get encouraged to do that. And then suddenly Black Flag came on.
Oh yeah,
we had stuff like Accept, Balls to the Wall.
Yeah, oh hell yeah.
I'm like the classic stuff.
Sure.
And it just, my story was the skateboarding culture and the rock and roll just boom all at once.
Yeah.
And it was so many things. Because I like everything from Def Leppard to Barbra Streisand, anything that moved me.
Neither one of them are metal.
Sure.
It really comes down to playing too.
But
Streisand.
But it was like the spectrum from A to Z, and if it moved me, I loved it. But really, I think the Neutrons really took off when I was about 13 at skate ramps. And basically, I got introduced into the punk rock scene in Wilmington in the mid-'80s. And before I knew it, by the time I was in 9th grade, I was one of them.
You were up with COC.
They're my buds, man. I know those
Ugly
guys.
Americans.
Yeah.
North Carolina had killer fucking
man.
We played with those guys back
then. And I'll tell you what, it was a blessing to be at that place at that moment because I got to see that stuff. And I got to, and it was, you weren't so far removed from that, so you got to meet them too if you just worked a little harder.
Oh, you got
you didn't have to be a raving, but you just get there and be proximate, and you'll find these people.
Those old school shows were like that because
they always were.
We were playing a big show, I think in Socastee, South Carolina.
Oh yeah.
Sitting out in the back drinking Black Label beers with the guys, and I'm like, man, when's DOA getting here?
Yeah.
And the guy beside me says, I'm Joey Shithead.
Yeah.
No shit.
Well, what do you mean? Shit with him for an hour drinking beers, So that was awesome.
No, it's just about being in proximity and just. I don't even think we even tried. It was, I think, dumb luck, and I'm so glad, And I've been better for it my entire life, because we knew them, we saw it, we heard it, we felt it, and then eventually you become it.
Yeah.
You try. You get in the basement with your friends and you just fucking try.
You just go. Yeah. If you try, especially things like playing music. practice definitely does make perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, as close to perfect you can go, that's the farther you'll go. I mean, yeah, I agree. I want to talk real quick, Todd. What was the first concert you saw?
I'll tell you what. The first concert I ever went to was a band called All Tore Up.
All Tore Up. Okay.
A local Wilmington punk rock hardcore band, and they opened up for Ugly Americans.
Hell yeah!
And that night, I knew right then, I want to do that. I want to do that. I at least sure want to try.
Yeah, you sure want to try.
I sure want to try. And I knew like 2 chords. I knew a bunch of Misfits songs.
Yeah.
That's what I was with Chet in my bedroom. And I was also learning like the leads to Yes songs, but I knew that wasn't going to get
Yes is great.
I
love
Yes. I was like, this is freaking awesome. But it's not going to be the thing, I knew it, but went on and just trying to make big 4-chord dumb rock and roll. And people seem to gravitate to that better than anything else. And I was like, cool. So really, it was just convenience ruled the early years for me. I decided that's what I want to do right there.
I blew my girlfriend's mind the other day because she was saying that she didn't know in the song "I've Seen All Good People" in the background they're saying like all we were saying is give peace a chance.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I was like, just listen to it. She was like, oh my god! And like now she can't listen to it the same.
Right. Yeah, you can't. Yeah.
Chris, do you remember the first concert you ever saw?
No.
First one that comes to mind that you've seen.
Metallica.
You saw Metallica. What year was that?
I was with Jeff Ford. And I was in I think it was 91, 92.
Mm-hmm. Black Album.
So you saw the Black Album tour, huh?
Yeah, I think so.
Was Guns N' Roses with them?
No. I didn't know they weren't there. It was kind of a big.
Was that at the Coliseum?
It was.
That was the
Was it the Coliseum?
I don't remember. I liked Guns N' Roses too at the time, so I definitely don't remember them being there.
Yeah.
I would have remembered that. And it was pretty good. I like the punk shows better. I started getting out and watching other things like going to Cumberland's and whatnot back in the day. Saw a lot of local bands. Like Self. Self was really good. They were a 3-piece, just energetic as hell. You see them jumping like off the stage, and especially for being a 3-piece, they're just so full sound.
Yeah.
And my brother was in a bunch of bands, and that got me into it too. It was just it was a lot different. You get like a lot more fuel.
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Especially from people who are into it, the angst, everything else. There's just a lot more energy and a lot more hype to it that you just want to fucking do it next time. You know what I mean?
That's good.
Speak up.
Yeah.
Speak up.
I am speaking up, motherfucker.
Herman, you remember your first show? Did you ever get to see Kiss? Did you ever see Kiss?
I saw Kiss at the first reunion.
Oh, okay.
You want to hear my first show or my first?
Yeah, I want to see your first show. Well, both.
Okay. All right. Now my first show. You guys remember a band called Quarter Flash?
Yeah. I don't remember them.
They were like an MTV band and a kind of a reggae-ish band called UB40.
Yeah.
I know UB40. Yes.
I saw them play at a college, and that was my first show.
Okay.
First actual show. But my first metal show, like in the town I grew up in, Florence, we had the punk scene and we had the metal scene, and we were oil and water.
Yeah. Yeah.
For whatever dumb reason.
We're gonna touch on that later, but yeah, go ahead.
So anyway, I was in Sex Music at the time, and that was finishing up, and I was starting a band that was kind of more metal than punk or punk, whatever. It was more like a hybrid, like we're doing now.
Yeah.
But I had all these metal fans who were like, dude, you got to go see this band called Metallica.
Uh-huh.
They're opening for Ozzy. I'm like, I don't want to see Ozzy because I just didn't know Sabbath and Ozzy. I've been in this punk world where you don't listen to that, and they're like, man, you're gonna love him, man. This dude wears Misfit shirts. And
okay, yeah.
So this is 1986. Cliff Burton. This is in May. He died in September.
Yeah.
So this was the Master of Puppets. I think Zach was with Ozzy, so that was the Bark at the Moon, whatever album that was, right?
No, that was
that was No Rest for the Wicked.
No Rest for the Wicked. That was the first record that Zach was on.
What was the song on that in '86?
The single off the record? I can't remember. Say it again?
No More Tears?
No. No More Tears was in the 90s.
Miracle Man or something? I'm not sure.
This was it was the same year Master of Puppets was out, and
Harry,
I can't
Close My Eyes Forever, Lita Ford.
No, that was it.
Zach Wow.
Oh, never mind.
I don't know.
It's going to come to me as soon as I drive.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, my buddies taught me to go in to see Ozzy and Metallica, and Metallica just changed my world in that show.
Yeah.
I mean that just I mean, I just became a Metallica head for many years.
And then what a great tour to see them on Master of Puppet Stories. That album
a hell of a lot better tour than what I saw them on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, okay, so people rank Master of Puppets to be one of the greatest, if not the greatest, heavy metal album of all time.
It's one of the best, and their backdrop was not much. You know, it had like some kind of crosses close. It was the album
the graveyard and all
that.
Yeah,
had those but you know, they just came out and they were just, you know, Kirk's wearing a Sam Haines shirt or Salween, and Cliff's wearing like the Crimson Ghost shirt with the sleeves cut off, his freaking bell bottoms, and his hair is a windmill. You know, when And I you know, they were playing stuff for me on the way up there, like, oh, this is from Kill 'Em All. This is from you know,
and Cliff always played with his pinky out. Mm-hmm. He was very polite that way. He always played with his pinky out. And I mean, Master of Puppets is a killer album.
That blew me. And then I saw Injustice for All on the Black Album too.
That's when I saw.
That's the last I've seen of them.
I saw Injustice for All. Yeah.
But you know what? And I fell in love with Metallica then, you know. But then actually 30 years ago this year, the Garage Days Revisited came out.
Yeah, my favorite record.
Yeah.
Last Express and Green.
Because they were
I know you guys marked out like that.
Yeah.
I mean, and even they had Am I Evil by Diamond Head?
That was earlier. But that one had Helpless. You know, Crash Course and Brain Surgery. Yeah. You know, all these just great covers of
and they had a whole thing of Motorhead covers too.
Budgie.
I never heard that.
You never heard of Motorhead? Oh, they do Overkill.
They do.
They do three others. Yeah. Oh, before we go, we'll listen to them.
Yeah.
Speaking of Motorhead, there's another band that covers Motorhead. It's you guys. Well, whose idea was it to cover Ace of Spades?
Everybody's. Mine.
You pointed at him.
I did that in a band.
I remember the night he was like, because you know we lost him.
Yeah.
And right as we all knew he was going to leave us.
Yeah.
There's no other song that shows him up like that one.
He said we got to show him a couple weeks.
That's totally our tribute to Lemmy.
Yeah.
And
I always try to start a Lemmy chant after you guys play it. No one does it.
Yeah.
But I swear I can't make it up. Every time you guys play a song, I'm like Lemmy. Okay. I swear to God, I do it every time. No one cares. But
at least you enjoy it.
Huh?
You know, so at least you enjoy it.
Oh, I enjoy it. Yeah.
As soon as he mentioned it, we were all.
You know, and Motorhead is another band that I'd like to touch on because their first album was kind of punky.
Yeah.
It really was. So I want to go back to what you were saying, the separation of punk and metal. Do you think that is there a real separation between punk and metal?
There really isn't. We're really the same people.
It's a blurred line.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of people nowadays, because I've asked that question to almost every punk band that I've had on this show, and they all say it's a very blurred line, it doesn't exist. But if you were to talk, if I were to talk to you in
1986,
would you have told me that
I wouldn't have hung out with you because we were in this little punk bubble. We're too punk. That's commercial. You know, you got these crazy ideas that you have.
Crazy ideas, that's right.
But you know, a lot of that was DRI, SOD.
Oh yeah,
a lot of that.
SOD.
You know,
Yeah.
DRI we played with. You know, a guy calls me up one night because there's Maximum Rock and Roll. You familiar with that?
I am. Yeah. Okay. Yes, sir.
So you put your name in there. There was no internet.
Yeah, of course not.
There was barely a telephone. There was long distance charges. You know, but anyway, you'd have your name with contacts in regional scenes. And guy calls me up and he's like, "Hey, can you book DRI in your hometown?" I'm like, "Yeah, we'll book them and we'll open up for them. But where are they cleaning up for here? Like the Metroplex in Atlanta." I'm like, "If you put my band on that opening slot, then we'll hook you up the next
train
night."
them up, yeah.
So we went to Atlanta, first big out of Florence show, you know, and opened for DRI, and it was awesome. It was great.
That's a good. I like that.
That's awesome. Great start.
The next day, I booked them in a freaking bar.
Oh man!
But it was where we would have punk shows and a shitload of kids would show up.
Sure.
Yeah. But it's just
the horses and the cows and the goats and the chickens.
It's a DIY situation, you know.
Yeah,
that's
how it is.
So the drummer wouldn't come out of the van forever. They had to coax him out of the van. But anyway, they ended up playing that show. It was fucking awesome. But then, like years later, in Rip magazine, is Rip still around?
No, Rip's not around. It's so funny you mentioned that. Yeah.
But there's a DRI interview in there, and they said we've come a long way from playing cornfields in South Carolina.
That's your fault.
Hey, but they got you an article in the
I love that.
But they were awesome. Municipal Waste, that's band.
Love that band.
Reminds me, because DRI, I love, but that's Metal Hammered.
Yeah.
I love that band. Man.
Yeah.
I could just listen to that nonsense.
They
Old school
really
thrash
are.
metal, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good old school.
You can't beat that
waste.
mess,
You
man.
can't beat that, man.
When you talk about old school thrash metal, the first thing that comes to my head is the new wave British heavy metal.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about this before with Angel Witch, Diamond Head, Witchfinder General, Demon, Hell, Grim Reaper. You guys familiar with that as well?
Grim Reaper?
I mean, it's. I think that really is the most underrated heavy metal that there is.
That is some of the best heavy metal.
It really is.
I was into bands like Halloween.
Halloween's great too.
Halloween's back.
Yeah.
They are, in fact.
What's their new name?
Last year they were out on their
it's
doing their new thing. Yeah, what is it called?
They have a different name though.
It's ridiculous.
It's like something about pumpkins.
Yeah.
That's the German guys, right?
Yeah.
They're back together, and they have a new. I don't know. They have a new name. But anyway, check it out.
Yeah,
He's all excited about it.
Huh?
Yeah.
I say he's very excited.
I don't really go Halloween
Pumpkins.
much, but
Yeah.
I'm against them.
I like pumpkins.
Yeah.
But
Smashing Pumpkins.
The Pumpkins.
No, the wrong band.
You don't like Smashing Pumpkins?
No, they're all right, but it's the wrong band. It's not
Yeah,
Halloween.
it's definitely wrong. It's not healthy.
Well, I mean, if Halloween's Smashing Pumpkins, they're
The Halloween is like pumpkins unite, or I don't know. It's something really cool. It's kind of like
it's something.
it's them like
Halloweenish.
together. Yeah, it's a play on
It's
that.
definitely Halloweenish.
Yeah, so it's definitely check that out.
All right, guys, we got some comments. Just want to throw out. Okay, David Thomas says wants to let you guys know he loves you.
Gravy.
Yes.
Yay.
There you go.
Oh man.
Okay, we got Jared Raynack. Says Energy. Says hello.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Hello.
Yeah, and
Sir.
Zach Key shows his love.
Maniac.
Zach the Maniac. Zach Attack.
Appreciate that, everyone.
Hell Satan.
But getting back to that, what is the one new wave British heavy metal band that should have made it?
Anvil.
Anvil.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Diamond Head, I think maybe.
You think Diamond Head?
Yeah, I don't know. Angel Witch, all of them.
I was
all
gonna
of them
say
should
Angel
make-
Witch is always mine. But
And Demon
I
Don't
love
Make the
that.
Circles are my favorite
Yeah.
songs. But all these bands should have made it. But Maiden's part of that.
Maiden,
They
Def
made it.
Leppard, Priest.
And
Def Leppard, High and Dry is not High and Dry. In Through the Night
Into the Night,
is
yeah.
still one of my favorite metal
One
albums.
of the baddest ass
And
records.
then they went to the little bit more
They did,
the
you
arena
know.
rock, but I mean it's
They
still
did.
good.
Pyromania was a great album.
I think it's
Sure.
one of the greatest sounding records ever made.
It's professionally done.
You know who's playing keyboards on that?
Everyone.
Thomas Dolby.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
One of our submarines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
She
that
blinded
was-
me with science.
But that was a
Yeah.
super album. I remember
Science.
seeing, and when Photograph came out was when I still was the punk guy. You know, same as freaking Lux to Kill. Crew coming out, Shout the Devil. I was seeing his stuff on MTV, and I was like, man, I like this, but I can't like it.
I can't like it. You had to pretend not to like it.
Because these guys are sellouts, man. They
Yeah,
don't
like,
make money,
whatever,
shit.
man, fuck
We're
that.
real.
See,
but it was good stuff.
I always say that Angel Witch is the one that should have.
Angel Witch, they should have.
To me, they put all their eggs in the basket when they they tried to record on multiple albums. It didn't work. They tried to do more EPs. It didn't work. They They called bands, said, "Can we do a split EP? Can we do something?" And for some reason, they just couldn't get past that barrier. And I feel sorry for them because Angel Witch is an amazing band. If you guys don't know who Angel Witch is, definitely look them up. They're part of that new wave British heavy metal band. I'm sure Lars Ulrich can tell you all about them.
You know what made me like
they're
them
awesome.
Was the video Cliff 'Em All when they're interviewing Metallica.
Yes.
And Mustang goes Angel Witch.
Yeah,
So
Mustang goes yeah.
Right then I went out and found Angel Witch.
Yes, and is there anything else you'd like to say to the metal community? Metal your ass. I've been reading. Speaking of Dave Mustaine, which we'll touch on him a little bit later, but I have been reading Dave Mustaine's book. I've read it a couple of times, but I went back and reread it. And he's had a lot of people can say this with heavy metal and punk, but his lifestyle is really shitty. He talks about his
growing up lifestyle.
Well, yeah, he talks about a story where he's listening to Judas Priest, Stained Glass, or no, what's the album Sin? I think it is Stained Glass. Either way, he's listening to a Judas Priest album, and his stepdad, I think it's his stepdad, comes up to him and rips the record off and slaps him in the head and says, "None of this in my house." And he says, "How could you hit a child?" Well, he said, Dave in his head says, why hit a child? And what do you have against Priest?
Yeah.
So now I have to ask, growing up, was there any kind of that in your household about, with your music, anything like that?
I grew up in a Baptist household, but my parents were really cool about letting me listen to what I wanted to listen to.
Because a lot of the influences that you guys might have might be from things like that. Because Dave has that all the time. Dave Mustard Stain. Yeah. So
speaking, as far as like I said, my parents were really cool about letting me listen to what I wanted to listen to and look the way I wanted to look.
Yeah.
As far as influence with the church, the singing in the church every Sunday was my favorite part of the church. And the music in the church growing up was a big influence on me. Yeah. I don't think you see that anywhere in what we do, but
well, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I learned to sing.
Even if you're playing the lute in the church,
But that's how I learned to sing. Was I was you have your Baptist hymnal and you can read the notes. And I was learning notes, learning music from playing sax at school and. That taught me. I mean, I don't know. That's what I got from church. The singing was awesome.
Mine were pretty wide variety too. Classical, R&B, old school rock.
Yeah.
Whatever the heck it was, some country. What was it? Yeah. Didn't get any flack from any of it. Pretty much wasn't turned down from listening to anything I had.
Good.
They didn't want to listen to it.
Of course not.
But we can listen to it all we wanted to.
Yeah.
So that was that was good that we can explore whatever we like musically, and it didn't cost too much politics as far as that goes. So
yeah,
it let us kind of choose our own way with what we liked and we like what we like.
Good.
The one time my dad did kind of yell at me about music is I don't know if you guys are Billy Joel fans.
I'm a Billy Joel fan.
This album,
she's always a woman.
This album, Glass Houses, came out.
Yeah,
I remember that. And it's when Billy Joel kind of tried to go punk.
Yeah.
And I think it's before I was into punk. It's like 1980, 81. I don't know when it was, but there's a song called "It's Still Rock and Roll to Me."
Yeah.
And I would play that, lift the needle up, and start it over. Lift the needle up. Herman, my dad finally
another
said,
song.
You gotta stop that, dude.
It's so funny to say. On our last episode of Metal for Metal, I talk about how my mother gave me a Blue Oyster Cult Greatest Hits album.
Oh,
and
you did.
And I kept playing "Don't Fear the Reaper" over because in the movie The Stand. The movie, the movie The Stand, it plays Don't Fear the Reaper, and the camera's panning over a bunch of bloody bodies. I just listened to that song. I didn't have a record player.
That's the long version.
Yeah, and I just played it over and over. My mom was like, they have other songs, honey.
No. Not right now. They don't.
And I, like today, the new Taylor Swift song dropped.
Yeah.
So driving my daughter home from school, we heard it twice on the way home. Yeah. But that's how it is when that new single comes out.
Yeah.
You just play it over and
over.
And his daughter finally told him to stop.
Yeah. You were the one who wanted to hear it.
He's like, Dad, can we listen to something?
Can we listen to some Misfits or something? I want to touch a little bit on the future of Hybrid Mutants. I can say you guys are older all day, but you guys still rock a bit like you're in your fucking 20s, which I appreciate so much.
And we feel like we're 16. At least I do when I'm
I'm never going to be more than 16.
16. So I want to talk a little bit about the future of Hybrid Mutants. Are we going to maybe get an EP?
Well, Chris is going to turn 18 soon.
We have the songs right now to record a record.
We do.
This band has put out 5 CDs between 1997 and 2004.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, we haven't recorded. So it's just a matter of
getting
my goal has always been well, I don't know, it's changed in the past 10 years or so, but originally I really didn't like shows so much. I just like to be in the studio. I like to write, the process of writing, recording.
It's my fault.
Now I'm loving shows more than I ever have.
Yeah,
because we're really freaking tight,
You guys are. If I can blow smoke up your ass for 2 minutes here, I mean, when I first saw you guys, maybe about a year ago, I think, and I didn't know. It was before, obviously, we were doing this metal for metal thing. I didn't get to go to a lot of shows. I was always working. Now that I saw you guys get so tight at the Mill when you guys played with Soda City Riot, and I was like, man, that was a great show.
Great night, man.
And you guys are really tight. I saw you guys at the Hearts on Fire CD release, which I saw the guitarist or bassist. I saw the guitarist of Hearts on Fire in Sesame Burgers the other day, and I didn't want to fuck with you because like you were with your grandmother or your mother.
Those are our best friends.
But I did not want to go say hey to him. So if you're watching this, I saw you eat that burger.
Hearts on Fire, we're just
but you guys are unbelievably tight, and you guys have a great stage presence, and you you guys really are the hybrid of punk and metal, especially right here in Charleston. And like I said, coming from a fan, a legit fan, I appreciate that to no end. And I hope.
Well, there's a future. I hope
we never know. Yes, I hope that we could get an LP, an EP soon.
We're working towards that.
Good.
We've been working with Real South Records, and they've agreed to pay for us to record. So we just got to figure out how we're going to release it, or whatever. I mean, the main thing is getting the shit recorded.
Yeah.
However it gets released, I don't care. I just want it documented. I want, we've got these songs we have done.
Yeah.
But when you ask about the future, I'll let you talk. I'm sorry. I play every show like it's my last show.
Yeah.
When I'm up there in my head, it's my last show.
I can tell.
I'm not thinking that. I don't want it to be, but I'm like, if something happens, this right now is my last show.
Yeah.
I want it to mean something.
I think that goes a lot for a lot of musicians, guys. Like we talked about with Lemmy, David Bowie, and we talked about with Cliff Burton and all that. I mean, everyone's got their time to go, and you never know when that might be. So you got to always put your 100% in that show. That's why I always try to put 100% in the interview in case I die. Chris, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I don't remember.
That 18-year-old brain is getting.
I don't have my ID.
Speaking of underage, the band Durpot is going to be on the show September 11th, not August. September 11th.
9/11.
And and so they were. I was like, well, wait a minute, you guys are underage. You can't even drink. So we're thinking about just calling it Metal Unhammered.
Yeah.
But we also someone came up with the idea to say, well, why don't you just call it Metal in a Paper Bag? I was like, no, I don't need the cops busting down the door.
The thing about a paper bag I love is because the cops don't know what you're drinking.
Yeah, it could be a Gatorade.
Yeah. But speaking of there's people that go see us. Like when we played the farm, we're hanging out backstage, and there's this guy Jeff, my good buddy, and he talked about how when he was 15, he snuck out of his house to see sex meetings when we played in Charleston.
Wow, what a
and how he got an ass whipping.
Yeah,
but
he took one for the team on that one.
But then there's also kids that that we see, and they were just like 2 years old when we started.
Yeah,
they're at our shows. There's kids now that are whatever, and they're like there's always every show I play there's someone that's you were my first show.
Yeah, that's got to mean a lot to you.
It means the world. It really means the world.
It is.
What we get from our fans, people that like us, is what we get. That's what we get out of this.
Yeah.
We pay, and we play, and we make enough money to cover our band shed, and we have enough money to make T-shirts. Chris will never get them made. I don't know what's happening with it. But what we get out of it is from our fans, meaning people like you guys. We're not looking to get smoke blowing up our ass.
Yeah.
But it really means a lot when someone says something to us.
Yeah. Well, we do.
When someone says, you were my first show. I'm glad to see you guys still here, or you guys thank you for keeping it real.
Yeah, you guys really do.
And that's why we do it. We have jobs. We have lives. This is a job out of life, but we have jobs that pay, and we have but we do it because we love doing it.
Yeah.
I love being up there. Many nights, I'm in Somerville like you, right?
Yeah.
We're playing downtown on a Saturday at 11 o'clock or whatever. I'm laid up on the couch. You know what, dude? I just don't really want to get up and go. Whatever. I get up. But the minute I'm on stage and the people are there, these guys crank their amps. And what you get, I know it's cliche, but the energy you get from the crowd,
it makes it all.
I'd
say it's genuine for every one of us guys, because let's face it, man,
we wouldn't do it if we didn't love it.
Yeah, come on,
this is a lot of hard work.
I could be doing a lot of other things, but I won't ever turn my back on music. And these gentlemen, they want me to be there, so I'm going to be there for them.
We all want to be together. We all love this lineup right now. We all love each other.
It looks really tight. Yeah,
thank you so much.
And it is, people don't realize, even a band like us that's not really a professional band doing it for a living, there's a lot of hard work that we have to go through each week just to coordinate everyone together. We're 5 adults.
Everyone's got lives.
Or every month, whatever. And sometimes we go through a spell where we hit it hard, and we're playing, and sometimes we hit a spell where we just, you don't see us out there.
Yeah. But sometimes some of us don't play for 11 months. Yeah! Alright, I'm so glad to be back in this band, dude.
Todd took a break from me. He just got tired.
No, it was not personal. It's not.
We just
Todd sometimes,
11 months away was a lot for me because I really didn't want to be away.
You could have had a whole baby.
He is still having that baby.
Okay.
It's a food.
You're like Bonnie from Family Guy, forever having
being
pregnant.
Yeah, I'm always
it's kicking.
But no, it's really cool to be back with this lineup because this lineup is what mattered to me.
Yeah.
It was these gentlemen.
So if you're asking us what we think about The Last Jedi, I would ask you, what do you think about The Last Jedi?
Oh, I can't wait for The Last Jedi.
What do you think?
You know what? We're going to touch on Star Wars here a little bit.
Now, here's what podcasters always do.
Yeah.
I'm a podcast junkie. Right, I actually listen to more podcasts than I do music these days. I'm sorry, but I do. But every podcaster is, we're going to touch on that later.
Yeah.
Something comes up, we're going to touch on that later. Sometimes you do, and sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing. We're going to touch on that because you've said that 3 times.
Oh yeah, that's
I'm going to get each subject.
I have them here. Dave Mustaine, Motorhead, and I have a
So let's touch on Last Jedi.
I do want to touch on Last Jedi because what is in that trailer that has never been in any Star Wars movie ever? Paper, books.
Oh, that Jedi book.
Yeah. So that's never been in a Star Wars ever. So I think.
Wow.
Here's what I think. When I saw that trailer, I saw it in theaters, and I was like, "Honey, those are books." There's never been a book.
Yeah.
It's always I think that it's going to be, for example, why do we know who Hitler was? He died in 45. Why do we know who Hitler is?
Because of the shitty.
But because of books and okay. So in Force Awakens, Rey says Luke Skywalker. I thought he was a myth.
Yeah.
But that was only 30 years ago. Because things aren't written in books, so maybe
they've got to have it digitally. Or something,
sure, but I think that this ancient Jedi thing wrote this down on some material so that it could be passed down, so that somebody knows.
And that Jedi tree is there.
So I think that has a lot to do with it. I think that Luke. I don't think it's Kylo saying this is the end of the Jedi. I think it's Luke saying.
It is Luke saying
because Luke's saying no. We need to stop doing this. We need to do this.
Yeah.
Sometimes the dark side is a little necessary to get shit done. I think that's what he's trying to say.
And what I love about Star Wars is, ever since the first episode 4, the first episode.
Are you guys Star Wars fans?
Oh yeah.
Of course. You gotta be, right?
Episode 4 was the first thing I ever watched in my life. First movie I ever watched.
That was before it was even A New Hope. It was just Star Wars, right?
Yeah. I saw it. I saw it when it opened.
I was probably before a lot of people were even born.
I was like,
I was 10 years old, and I remember it was a summertime. Well, because I guess it premiered in May, but by June, I didn't know about it because there was no internet. There was no Starlog magazine. It was, I remember my dad coming home from lunch one day and giving me this Time magazine that had a little thing about Star Wars, and he's like, "Tonight we're going to go see this movie. It's supposed to be really cool." Me and my dad were Star Trek fans together, and then, I remember going to see Star Wars.
That's exactly how it was.
Yeah,
man.
It blew everybody's mind. Yes. But what I love about Star Wars is A New Hope was pretty black and white. Obi-Wan's kind of gray as far as good and evil,
Yeah.
But the more and more you get into it, are the Jedi the right people?
Yeah, to some people, they're the terrorists.
Exactly. Like Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Is it Negan or what's his name?
Yeah.
The sheriff.
Sheriff. Yeah. Who's right and who's wrong?
Yeah. Because to the Empire, they're the government.
Exactly.
And these guys are
that's all real pointed for right about now.
It's
really. Yeah, you're right.
It's any war, our American Civil War. Each side thought they were right.
Sure.
And the same as Star Wars. Each side thinks they're right.
Well, it's the same thing with what Obi-Wan said. He was like, everything applies to one's point of view.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it goes right back to it.
Yeah. Obi-Wan's so ambiguous about things.
He's such an asshole, too. He could have told Luke a lot of shit, but instead he was just like...
I'll let you figure it out.
Yeah, it was just like, a young Jedi,
Mark Hamill now is the same age as Alec Guinness.
Yeah.
Which is really
I'm going to tell you, you kind of look like Mark Hamill a little bit, too. From Jan Silent Bob Strike Back, when he's
when he was fat then?
No, not when he was fat. No, when he had the blue around his eyes.
Yeah, you're right. Okay,
I thought about that when I first saw you in the mill. When I got in the car, I was like, baby, you look like Mark Hamill from, but from Jan Silent Bob. Not because you were fat, because you had the circles around.
Now you talk about we were mentioning to someone earlier, like he was the guy with the dwarf shirt on your interview.
Rick and Stacy. I hope you guys are watching.
Well, I saw you guys on air. It was awesome.
Yeah,
he was a wealth of knowledge about punk rock.
Yeah, he does.
Mark Hamill is just an encyclopedia about comic books.
Yeah, he is.
He walks the walk and talks the talk, man.
Most definitely.
He knows a lot.
Well, guys, I'm going to get into some really hard questions. Not hard, but it's some really difficult.
Can we stop for pee?
Oh, we can't stop for pee. We only got a few minutes left. What we're going to be doing?
You'll watch my legs slowly
start to cry. This is what I call the rapid fire reel. All I do is I give you guys a topic, and you guys kind of just say the first one that comes to your mind. Okay? I'll go individual. So what's going to happen is if I start with Todd, you're going to know what the question is. Then the next topic, I'll start with you, and you'll know, and then I'll start with you, and so it's going to be.
I'm totally confused.
It's going to be a surprise. It's going to be a surprise. I'm going to ask you the question first. It's
With Todd answers?
No. I'll ask you. What's the question?
By the time we get to Todd, he says 2 answers.
Yes, he's going to know the answer, and then but I'll start over to where it'll be a surprise for everybody. So the first one I'm going to ask. There's the big 4 of metal. There's Anthrax, Megadeth, Metallica, Slayer. Todd, I'll start with you.
Sorry about okay, I've seen Anthrax a few times, but there was one where they opened for Ozzy.
Anthrax opened for Ozzy?
Yeah,
okay.
And I forget, there was a Pass Among the Living. What was the one after Among the Living? Maybe had Antisocial on it? Or was
State of Euphoria.
Okay, so they're opening for Ozzy, right? And we were trying to go to Charlotte from Florence, and just argument after argument, trying to get everything's ready, and we're just dying to get. I've seen Ozzy like 3 times by now, Nothing against that, but I was going to see Anthrax. So we get in there, we get our tickets, we get up in our seats, and they're holding up. Thank you, good night.
What the fuck?
You're like, wait, what?
That was it?
That's how much I've seen of Anthrax.
Shitty.
But I love Anthrax.
So that's the big 4 of metal. Todd, I'll start with you. What is the big 4 of punk?
Ooh.
GBH. Subhumans, DOA, Sex Pistols.
I guess Sex Pistols, the Misfits. Metal Hair.
Metal Hair.
Go to her.
Go to her. All right, Herman.
It stops with the Misfits for me. I'm just like, I love them.
Misfits.
He's like disgusting.
Ramones, maybe.
Misfits is one of my all-time favorite bands. But I've got to say, if you're going to take the top 4 of punk rock, you're going to have Pistols, Ramones, Black Flag, and Dead Kennedys.
Fucking Ramones.
Ramones, yeah.
Dead Kennedys. All those 2.
Next question, Chris. I'm gonna start with you, Mr. Metal Hammer. Opinion: Dave Mustaine.
Dave Mustaine.
Overrated, underrated, perfectly rated?
Metallica, Megadeth.
I think Megadeth's better.
No. I'm just saying, he played Metallica, and then he has Megadeth. You know what I mean? And
is he Rock and Roll Hall of Fame worthy?
He's the only one to be in both
bands. If you ask him, yeah.
Sure, of course.
If you ask him, great. But ask everybody else. I don't know. I like him. I like his singing style. I like what was that? What's the one where Marty Friedman that started?
Rest in Peace. He was on that. He was on.
What was the other?
Marty was on
He was on P-Cells too.
And So Far So Good So What, which is my favorite. I love him all.
Like that. Like I like his singing style. You know what I mean? I don't like paying attention to much individual or band's politics as much.
Yeah,
it's the music. You
know?
So I agree with that.
I like Mustaine as far as music goes. I think that sometimes he overdoes it a little bit, depending on which songs it is.
Yeah, it's sometimes a little too.
Yeah, he's a little bit overselling himself.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, but.
He always wears a Megadeth shirt, which I love that about him,
Yeah, he's like, us!
So does Maiden. Yeah.
Metallica back in the day. Lars always had a Metallica shirt.
Yeah. Well, that's Lars.
Some people,
exactly. That's Lars, that's Metallica, that's Dave,
that's
Megadeth. You know what I mean? And, I mean, it's...
The only reason I'm not wearing a Mutant shirt is because we don't make them anymore.
All right, we got band rent.
We're paying for January.
but we got to worry about February and March. It's okay.
Every show people say, "Where's the merch? You got any merch? Where's the merch?"
He doesn't get any merch because he pitches so fucking.
So Todd, tell me, what's your opinion of Dave Mustaine?
Dave Mustaine I liked because that was one of the first bands I heard at the skate ramp. And it was, I don't remember what album it was, and I just,
But you can always tell it's Dave's voice.
I was blown away. I think it was Peace Hell, Blues Buying Bang.
That bass fucking line.
That whole record, that's how I knew him.
That bass line is solid.
And not another record
Dave
after
Nelson.
that.
Yeah.
I don't.
Oh, the one after that was my favorite. So Far So Good, So What?
I liked it, but I heard it, but I didn't own it. And it was kind of like, that was probably by the moment where I was like, it's not me.
Hermit, so you pretty much threw yours in there. Do you think Dave Mustaine is Hall of Fame worthy?
I think he is.
Yeah.
I think if you shave his head, he looks like that guy from Russia, Putin.
I never made that connection.
You never seen them in the same room together?
I'm just saying.
You know?
So, yeah.
The Black Album tour in Indianapolis, I almost got my ass beat because I had Megadeth on the back of my leather. And
that's right. Before and I'm going to do this after the Rapid Fire Real, but to end the show, I'm going to save this to the end. I want to hear your Queensrÿche story.
God.
At the end of the show, I want to hear it. But Herman, I'm going to start with you for this next question. We're going to talk about another frontman for a band. That's Phil Asama.
Wow, yeah, man.
I can't say anything but great things. He's fucking awesome. I love them.
Yeah.
You know, Pantera was fucking... Pantera, you know, first time I heard Pantera, it sounded like an outtake from Master of Puppets.
Okay.
You know, anyway, I love it.
Yeah,
Great
okay.
frontman.
Yeah.
Love him to death.
Chris?
Dimebag.
But Phil Asama, though.
Dimebag.
Now, what Phil's in a band now, right?
Phil is in a band. He was going to be in a Lemmy tribute band with Dave Grohl and Dave Lombardo, and he got kicked out.
Probot, you remember that Dave Grohl project?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
That shit was so...
Yeah, it was solid.
Yeah.
He was a super drunk ritual too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was oh God, what was it? I can't remember. They're all over the place. Todd, Phil Asama?
Saw him in 1987 or 88, right at the beginning of their career.
So they were glam.
And it was...
They were glam at the time.
They weren't they?
Yeah.
Weren't they?
Bad.
Yeah, Pantera
But
were
the
glam.
very next summer, you saw him like... Wow.
Cowboys from Hell.
Yeah, like, we're taking over this town. And they came back.
I love that.
And we were
That was
like...
good news.
That can't be the same band. It's like... I've heard of TSOL. Then I saw them in like 89. They were like LA Guns.
Yeah.
Steve Shower.
I was so turned off by like, wait, what? But the same thing, the opposite happened with Phil Anselmo and Pantera Band. When they came, they were really kind of, oh yeah.
Mike's asking us if we're still alive.
No,
Yeah,
we're all dead.
We're alive.
And,
So say yes, check Facebook.
Yes, check Metal for Metal on Facebook. We are still alive here. Still going strong, the Hybrid Mutants.
Yep.
Todd, I want to take the question back to you for this next one. And that is Iron Maiden. What does that mean to...
That was probably, man, when I was even younger than what I was speaking of. I was listening to Iron Maiden and King Diamond and some of the coolest stuff that I thought was never going to make it.
Yeah? Because it was different.
Creator,
I love Creator.
dude, man, I was like, what? And they were amongst that lineup in that time for me. And I think that Iron Maiden, to me, was probably the moment I knew that it was possible for you to actually even be in a band.
Yeah.
I want to say that's probably the first band that dropped my attention to being a musician.
So now that you're familiar with the Maiden, the question is, who do you prefer as a lead singer? Paul Di'Anno or Bruce Dickinson?
Bruce Dickinson.
Bruce?
Yeah.
Chris?
I'm going to Bruce.
They're almost two different fucking bands.
They are.
They were punk rock and Paul.
I love the Paul Di'Anno stuff.
I got it.
It's really good, but it's more punk.
Yeah.
It's definitely more got a punk edge to it. I listen to it, and then if I listen to Maiden that's not Paul, then, you know...
It's almost like two different bands.
It is.
Yeah, it
Killers?
is. One was like an opera, the other one's like, you know, you're in a friggin' dive.
Which one do you prefer, if you could pick one?
It depends on what kind of mood I'm in.
If you were going to an Iron Maiden show and either Paul or Bruce could be playing, who would you pick?
Well, I mean, Bruce is going to have a little bit more...
Well, sure. But if this was your choice...
Paul's not going to run to the hills now.
No, Paul ain't going to run to the hills. I mean... Yeah, he's as high, friggin' 2 minutes of midnight. Fuck.
So you think Bruce has got a bigger repertoire of songs?
A bigger voice, man.
He's also
he's got a bigger stage presence as far as that goes.
Yeah.
And he
now,
flies
if I'm
planes.
jamming in the
And he
radio,
flies planes, and he makes
and
beer.
He fucking flies planes. Paul flying a plane?
Who's Paul?
How's he gonna get there?
How the fuck?
Paul's gonna drive a bus.
He's gonna be there in his moped.
Yeah.
Paul's gonna haul the band and the shit on the moped.
Paul's
I'm sorry, Paul. I'm sorry.
Our drummer's texting me asking Dennis to read his comments.
Alright, what?
Hold on.
Mike Limehouse. He's asking. He's like, tell Dennis to read our comments.
Mike Limehouse. He said, "Why you guys so fat?"
Because he's the only guy that's not fat in the band.
Yeah.
If you notice, when we start up, I always say, "Welcome to the Fat Parade."
Yeah.
But
Except for him. Well, and he takes off his shirt too, like he's something.
He's got tattoos. Fuck you, Mike.
He's fighting
Love you, brother. Love you, man.
What else did he say?
Let's see. We also had Todd do your Alex Jones impression.
Oh man, this is great. What were we talking about? Maiden. Right. So Paul or Bruce?
It's hard, man.
It is hard.
Like if I want to go get the full what Maiden became,
Yes.
I want to see Bruce.
You
And
wanna see
if I want to
Bruce?
go to a Maiden show.
Yeah.
But speaking of Maiden, I've always loved the way they work their dual guitars.
Oh, it's beautiful.
That's what I like about us.
and Adrian Smith.
Yeah.
Very Maiden.
Yeah, very Maiden-like.
Very much.
Even Priest, I love that dual guitar.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I
KK
would-
Downing and Glenn
Glenn Tipton.
Tipton, yeah.
Yeah, man. Those two. Oh my God, you got guitars just.
You know, starting Mutants, we're always going to be a two-guitar band. You know, just to have that thick sound, and puts the metal in us. You know.
Yep.
A band I love now that reminds me of that old school two-guitar thing in Maiden is on Pierce the Veil. I don't know if you guys like these guys.
I've heard of them,
I've
yeah.
never heard of that before. What is that?
Pierce the Veil. They're like they're metal.
I've heard their name,
but they have like kind of poppy, polished vocals.
I like
and they go back and forth.
Yeah.
But their greatest times, they have that double guitar sound.
Yeah.
That sounds so maidenish.
Yeah.
Which I love. And,
Kong
fell.
That was Todd's fault.
It wasn't the airplanes that killed Kong. 'Twas beauty.
I got one more question
Not
for you
Kung
guys.
Fu, but Kung Fu.
I got one more question for you guys. I'm going to get on to Queen's Right Story, and we're going to wrap this up here. One last question, and I'm telling you this because you guys are the older ones in the group, so don't get offended. Chris, I'm going to ask you. You're going to be the one. Beatles or Stones?
Oh. Mike just texted
Get
me
off
saying
my
we're
lawn.
hungry.
I am hungry.
I told you there was food. I told you there was food.
What the hell?
You said you were full.
They have to watch Beatles or Stones.
It depends, man.
Chris.
You trying to go to
Beatles
sleep
or
or trying to
Stones?
wake up?
Chris, Beatles or Stones?
I'm trying to go to sleep or trying to wake up?
Beatles
You're
or
trying.
Stones?
All right, you're waking up. Stones.
Stones.
Yeah.
And you're going to sleep. Beatles.
Beatles, yeah.
Okay. Todd.
Black Flag.
There you go. I fucking changed my goddamn answer.
Black.
See, that's what you can't do that though, right?
No, you can't do that. It's Beatles or
That's not an
Stones.
You know what? I'm a Stones fan forever and ever and ever. My mother would roll in her grave if I didn't say I really, really like the Beatles, Mom. No, they're really good.
All right, Beatles
hands down.
Beatles hands down.
Love the Stones.
My girlfriend's a big Beatles fan. She has every single record with theirs. It's
Really
actually
good.
insane.
Really
I love the Stones. Don't get me wrong, but what Beatles did in that period of time that they did,
I mean, Fade to Black.
they changed the freaking world. Fade to Black by Metallica's. I heard that the other day. I don't know what movie we were watching, but Fade to Black. I'm like, we were in the theater watching a recent movie.
I got the name of the song wrong.
Anyway, it was like in the
Paint It
past
Black. There you
2 or
go.
3
That's what the fuck I was
weeks.
thinking.
Oh, Paint It Black.
Yeah.
Yeah, we tried to.
I was wondering why you said Fade to Black, but I was gonna let it go.
Come on, like,
Yeah, I understand.
Oh my God,
I understand.
We covered Paint It Black a couple of times.
That was horrible. Yeah,
It was
that's why
awesome.
we don't do it.
It was awesome.
It was not as awesome as you thought.
Well, guys, we're going to start to wrap it up here with the Hybrid Mutants. I appreciate you guys being on here. Again, we're going to wrap it up with one more story from the mouthpiece here, Herman Mutant.
All right.
One of my favorite bands, Queensryche. He has a killer story for me. And I have a lot of Queensryche repertoire right there in that
really
record
love
shelf.
that band,
He's
man.
probably going to
first
kick me
EP.
out of his house after this story.
I don't think I will. Let's hear it. Herman Mutant's Queensryche story.
So this is I think it's Injustice for All tour, Metallica.
They were. Yep.
And
why I saw
I think it was in Charlotte.
Yep.
Anyway, we had just a van we borrowed. I worked at this restaurant, and my boss let me borrow the owner of the restaurant let me borrow his van to take to the show. So we went to the show, and we were just, like you do when you go to the show, you party a little bit or whatever. So we go to the show. It's a good show, it's awesome. We're coming back home, and we're going down 95 or whatever road brings you from Charlotte to here. I don't know. And we're going by this rest area, and we see tour buses. Mm-hmm. Right? I'm just like hardcore full.
Is this after the show?
This is after the show.
Okay, after the show.
Going home, yeah. Because we'd gone out to eat or whatever, and then we're heading back home. So the band had time, whatever, So we see these tour buses at a rest area going home, and I'm full on just crazy Metallica guy at this time, right? So we pull up, the van hasn't even stopped, and I'm going out the side door, run up to the tour bus. Where's James? Where's James? Where's James?
I'm good.
And some Queensryche guy. There was the guitarist and some bouncers and the bass player. But one of the guitarists and bouncers and bass player, they're like right there, and they're like, if you want to see Metallica, go to the effing airport. Pissed me off. Pissed me off. So I just start talking. I mean, I'm an idiot. I'm talking nonsense, Then they start coming at me like, these bouncers are going to beat the hell out of me, right? So I start acting like I have a gun in my pocket, So anyway, they go back their way, we go back our way, right? We get back on the interstate in our van, and they saw the van we're driving in, and we're going down the road, okay, and then the Queensryche bus comes up behind us, passes us, and release their waste in front of us.
Oh, shit.
So there's shit and piss splattered all over the van.
Fuck.
I'm like, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life, man. Even though they're doing it, just we're laughing, going, yes, guys, you guys are awesome.
You know what? That's all right.
Wow. So you got covered in Queensryche shit.
We got covered in Queensryche shit. The van
pretty much.
That's a good story.
I like that.
That's a good story. Yep. Guys, it's been a pleasure having you guys up here. We appreciate you guys so much. Again,
thank you all so much.
We'll come back.
This has been our episode of Metal Hammered. We really appreciate you guys. Don't forget to check out our YouTube page, Metal for Metal. Don't forget to subscribe. And don't forget to check us out on Facebook. Don't forget to give these guys a like. And we got some merch here coming soon, right, Chris?
Check us out on Bandcamp. Hey, you can download like 21 songs on Bandcamp for free.
Yes, sir, you can. Thank you guys very much for joining us. This has been Metal Hammered with the Harvard Mutants. I'm PJ Steven, and we will see you fuckers later.
Hail Satan! Now you've got
Used to be that we hang out each and every day. Call you up or you call me with me on our way. But say last night I said what's up and you look the other way.